Hello, this is Chris Norman. Welcome to another video. Here we're talking about robbing behavior. And we're going to talk about two different aspects of this, why it happens and how you can stop it as a beekeeper. And just know, as a beekeeper, it most likely will happen at some point. So knowing how to stop it, but really knowing why it happens will be crucial. So first, understand why it happens. Know that honeybees have an incredible sense of smell, much more so than humans have. And so from a comparison, and it's hard for us to think about it. If you're smelling a barbecue, right? It's coming from somewhere. You can't identify where it's at, right? It's coming from somewhere. For honeybees, they know exactly where it's coming from. It's that intense, almost to the point they can see the sugar syrup or honey coming and wafting out of the colony. So if you can imagine this, any cracks or crevice, particularly any where air is escaping or entering, depending on atmospheric pressure, that's where they're seeing almost this sugar syrup or honey coming out of the colony. And so that is a comparison from a human perspective. So in times of dearth, typically in summer, but it could actually happen anytime, especially if you have a larger apiary, scout bees are sent out and they're scouring the area, and then they'll find maybe a colony like this that has a lot of sugar syrup trapped inside the colony. Imagine having neon lights, right? Neon lights shining from inside the nuke here. Obviously, it's going to attract scouts, and they're going to come in. They're going to start sensing around all the cracks and crevices. I'm like, how do I get inside this colony? If you have an entrance to do like this, right, which has a little exit point, imagine air, right, is either coming in or coming out of this colony. And if sugar syrup is trapped inside this nuke, you can imagine a neon light just shining. Might as well put up a welcome sign above that, because scout bees are very sensitive. It's as though they can see the sugar syrup coming out of that. So that's how it happens. Now, in a natural environment like a feral colony, it doesn't really happen that often. When scout bees are sent out, they may find the colony. They can sense honey, and typically honey is dripping from the combs. They sense it. There's basically at that point the colony has died out. Most likely, they enter in there. Well, obviously the colony has died out there. They take the honey. It's a really natural function, biology. And if there was a disease in there, they'll take the disease back to their colony, and with adaptation, adapt to that disease and use the food source to kind of survive that. And so that's what happens. But in a apiary like this, obviously we have a lot of food source, and a small amount of bees is going to attract scouts. So how can you stop this from happening? Well, one is don't use inner feeders, much like we just mentioned. Remember, the honeybees can see the sugar syrup wafting out of every single crack and crevice. So technically, they're not actually going in there and wanting to break in. They're just sensing, almost like seeing sugar syrup coming from every crack and crevice. They're wondering how to get inside of there. And so instead of doing that, you want to go to a top feeder. And the reason why this is the case is because with a top feeder, where is the sugar syrup? The sugar syrup is trapped in the bucket, not in the hive. If it's trapped in the hive, airflow will force that sugar syrup out, and obviously the scout bees will see that. In this case, with the top feeder, it'll be forced. First of all, it's confined to this bucket, but if it is dripping, it's going to go, you can imagine, out of this seal right here. And this is where all the scout bees will be mentioned. So when you put it on the top of the hive, you're going to probably see, especially in times of dearth, hundreds of bees trying to enter into this bucket. They're trying to figure out a way into the bucket. They don't even think about the hive. They're not going to be entering into the hive because they're not seeing sugar syrup coming out of the entrance. They're seeing sugar syrup coming out of the seals. And so this is the way to stop or severely halt robbing behavior from happening. Let's say you want to continue. Again, something is happening, you want to stop it from happening. One is, even though we mentioned that this small entrance is shooting kind of a smell from it, you still want a small area. But you want to combine this with some type of mesh material, like a screen. That way, when you put it in front of the colony, just like this, make sure you tack it. Make sure you have an entrance somewhere where the bees can also come in and go. But this still, again, imagine a neon light shining from the entrance, right? Where the bees going to go? Right on top. They're going to try to go on top of here. They don't know that the entrance is over here or under here. And so this, again, halts robbing behavior from happening. So this combination of screen material and a top feeder will halt dramatically robbing behavior. Can it still happen? Yes, but much less than if you have some type of inner feeder and don't have any type of screen material. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about robbing behavior. Appreciate the journey with us, and happy beekeeping.